This is a replay of Let's Talk Nigeria on Sparkling 92.3 FM Calabar, making Nigeria better, one conversation at a time.
We talk everything. Health, education, finance, sports, transportation, agriculture, politics,
entertainment,
people and power on Let's Talk Nigeria. Let's Talk Nigeria. Every day of the week from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Only on Sparkling 92.3 FM Calabar. Your radio, your charm.
Hello, welcome to Let's Talk Nigeria, Sparkling 92.3 FM Calabar, Cross River State, Nigeria. It's a Thursday, Throwback Thursday edition of the program, and today is the second to the last day of the month of February, and we're so elated. And this morning we have an interesting conversation to have, and it's concerning our state, Cross River State. So Sini pointed out that I was wearing the polo with the inscription Think Cross River State, and of a truth, it's a coincidence. Honestly speaking, I had planned to wear this polo today without even, aligning it to the fact that we'll be talking about Cross River State today. So this morning, we'll be reviewing the set of announcements that the state government, under the leadership of His Excellency Senator Prince Basio II, has made in recent times, and how this is going to, foster, or how it's going to better the future of Cross River State, the economic future of Cross River State. And this morning we have a very own Dr. Macfarlane Ejah, who is a public policy analyst, also still a member of the Chatham House, and also the country director, INTRAP. Thank you so much for that. So in recent times, we've had a lot of announcement which we believe is set to give a facelift to the tourism sector in Cross River State. A while ago, the governor, during a media parley organized here in Cross River State, announced that they have reclaimed Tinapa Resort and went on to unveil plans for the revival of Tinapa Resort. And also at that time, the governor announced that they are set to revive the Obudu mountain race. And after that particular media parley, we saw the announcement that follows that a committee has been set up to review the Carnival, Calabar and the annual festival concept after 20 years of hosting. Now, I went back to do a little research about the Obudu mountain race, and let's look at it before we, delve into this conversation proper. Now, according to what we have here, the Obudu Mountain International Race is an annual 11.25 kilometers mountain running competition that takes place in late November. It took place in Obudu in Cross River State at the time, and it was first held in the state in 2005. In 2005. And interestingly, according to what we have here, it has the largest total prize money available on any mountain race, and it's known as the world's richest mountain race. You had, according to the history here, the men's and the women's competition winners received at the time $50,000 each. $50,000 each, and I was blown away by this amount. And there is a total prize of around 250,000 naira. So what happened? Why did this particular initiative die down? When I came to Cross River State, I never heard anything about this until recently. And the state government has announced that it is set to revive this Obudu mountain race. And then the second thing here is that the state government has set up a committee to review the Carnival, Calabar and the annual festival 20 years after. Remember that the carnival started in 2004 under the leadership of His Excellency Donald Duke. At the time, he was the governor of the state at the time, and last year made it 20 years. So I think it's only proper that they review it to see areas that need adjustment. Now, this morning we had Dr. Macfarlane Ejah join us on this conversation, and you as Cross-Riverans, we also need you to be part of this conversation, because the Obudu Mountain race, the Tinapa Resort, the Carnival, Calabar is all in the interest of Cross River State. Dr. Macfarlane, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning,
Thank you so much for joining us. Yes. So let's start off with the Tinapa Resort, right? I'm interested. One of the things that I said to myself I was going to, or one of the places I said I was going to visit when I come to Cross River State was Tinapa. I heard stories as a young girl about how beautiful how the place was. But when I came to Cross River State, I saw the reverse. Now, this government is said to, according to the story we've heard, they have reclaimed it. And now they want to revive it. What do you make of it?
Now, first, I want to put my thumbs up and say very big thank you to His Excellency Senator Prince Basil too for that bold initiative of reclaiming Tinapa and wanting to continue, the dream of those who initiated it. Because actions, projects are done for people. Government is a continuum. So you begin to look at it, and one thing he has demonstrated is that, listen, there's no point of beginning to create, one project here, another project here. Let's look at projects that made us Cross-Riverians. What's happening to them? Are they down? Can we reactivate them? If we cannot reactivate them, can we retweak them and make them work for better, especially the ones that, resources have been put into? And that's where I put, I doff my cap for him. He's done excellently well to. Again, now, considering the fact that the Calabar to road, even though I've been very bitter about it, they've played a lot of politics at the national with us as Cross-Riverians, and I feel so bad. But trusting and hoping that this time God will see us through and is connected. We have a lot of people coming in. Calabar is noted for its hospitality, and even with the level of insecurity everywhere, still ranks up amongst the most peaceful states, in Nigeria.
Dr. Macfarlane, my concern here is looking at the business terrain that Cross River State is currently operating on. Do you see this business to be one that will be viable to give return on investment to the state government? Yes,
it will. Now, if you've gone there, in terms of structural things, infrastructural things which are there,
I think for the map is existing. The structure, we just agreed that during the what's it called, NSAS protest, they destroyed a lot of.
No, things. When you say destroyed, they looted the hotel. Now it doesn't mean that the physical structure of the hotel is still standing. The conference facilities are there.
Might be dilapidated though.
No, see, listen, a facility at that level, even your house that you build, over time, you need to have some sort of, maintenance and every other thing. Okay. So the government coming in, working on it, it becomes a... Remember that he said that Lakeside Resort, that Protea Hotel, was managing at a particular time.
Before they moved.
Yeah, so it's about looking at the enabling environment.
That's why I was asking about the business terrain.
The business terrain, it's there. You create the environment. That's what it needs to do. Number one, look at issues of taxation. Reduce multiple taxation, create tax holidays. Let me tell you, if the garment factory which was cited here,
supposed
where we put it, we have no business putting that there.
Really?
Look at the emporiums at Tinapa as at there. If that government really meant serious business, you do what we call environmental scan and situation analysis and look at resources that you have that can quickly enable you to start up something. One emporium and its environment would have just been sufficient for us to look at and rework on it and put that. And then you're looking at the garment. We know that people travel out. Things like a mania suit are expensive and people are buying it. So if you want to do garment and you're looking at suit, look at what is not available. There are some persons who will not go to a bar and buy the suits because they believe that it is not of their class. Would you have just created an environment that you had the Italians come in and have a partnership, set up, where they make their suits, set up where they make their shoes, set up where they make their watches, and then you have it there to meet the test of the high class. I don't need to go and start, building any other thing, resources that I would have put somewhere.
I thought they built it close to the airport so that they can.
Which airport?
The Margaret Ekpo.
Which are you being sarcastic or being?
No, but I'm being realistic, Doctor.
That what? Did they have any connection?
Well, that was what they cited.
Well, to do what? Is it a cargo airport? Have you been able to work on it to make it the cargo airport it's supposed to be? Even where you're building, are you not even trying to put, the expansion of the runway to make it a cargo airport into jeopardy by where you're putting it? I'm talking about the money you put in building those places. There's an existing structure already that you would have simply, latched on and then opened up. But
and that type of business would have fitted in.
Exactly. You have facilities. What was Tinapa meant for? It was supposed to be an international shopping connection,
like a free trade zone.
It's close to the free trade zone. That's idea. That's idea. So it's like when you look at
one rail is supposed to just link us.
When you look at the amount of money which has been invested, the fact that Ebony TV operated from the film studio, which was built in Tinapa, and the idea was that Nollywood, when you finish producing, in fact, production of film, you didn't need to go to South Africa as it was then. Come down to Calabar and use that and do it. Ebony TV was transmitting from the Tinapa film studio, and we're watching it on a DSTV. So it's not that the things were there.
Okay. All right. Thank you so far.
So it's only that I'm happy that the governor is coming in. There's been a lot of back and forth. Taking it up from AMCON is quite brilliant and all that. And then let's see what we can do. Do an environmental scan. What are we going to do? Which are the infrastructures we need to rehabilitate? And what new ideas will we inject into Tinapa to ensure that it becomes as vibrant as it's supposed to be, given the new environment we have found ourselves in.
Okay, also as part of the announcements that the governor made, they're planning to return the globally acclaimed Obudu mountain race. From the research we have here, the last time it was held.
It just went into doctors' terrain. Let me put it that way.
Yes. So according to what we have here, the last time it was held in Cross River State was in 2014. That's about 11 years ago.
That was before the Ejah administration. They came in 2015.
The last year before the new administration. The administration came in 2015.
Yes.
So it was supposed to hold in 2015 November.
Yes.
Being the month in
Yes.
Macfarlane.
Yes.
So before we go into what the state government plans to do you have an idea why that thing failed at some point?
We don't have any idea why it failed. I think it's a matter of choice and preference, and it beats my imagination.
Choice and preference, Doctor?
Yes.
By the then administration?
Yes, by that administration. It was choice and preference, and then it clearly showed that when you do things like, transition committees that do write-ups for you, you are not carefully looking into it. Because for me, that was a low-hanging fruit.
That would have benefited from.
Yes. Two things were actually low-hanging fruit for that administration.
Tell me about it.
When you come into that area. The centenary game, which Cross River State was supposed to host in 2014.
Centenary game?
Yes. 2014 marked 100 years of Nigeria's amalgamation.
And they needed to bring it back home to where it started.
Because Calabar was the first capital of Nigeria. So it was deliberate. That hosting right was given to us. And as far as I'm concerned, we were about 88 to 90% ready in terms of hosting it. When, the Senator Imoke's administration was moving out. And they went ahead to say, okay, we were not able to host it in 2014. Can you give us that to host it in 2015? Which was granted. So the Yade government came in. I'm not talking as an outsider. I was part of the LOC.
The local
organizing committee for the centenary game.
Okay.
So we were ready. The things we needed where facilities were not available were like the indoor facilities which were to take place within the indoor sports complex at the stadium, which is still uncompleted.
I remember that.
That administration had to move a police station into it. Do you understand? Defacing the entire arrangement. Now, those sports which were supposed to take place there, we had proposed they move to Tinapa. So you use the Emporium and do that.
For the indoor sports?
Yeah, for the indoor sports. Okay. Which was quite, and we had about 7 different large Emporiums there. Now, there was a deliberate effort to position Cross River State tertiary institutions strategically to host beyond just after that preparing them for Nuga. If you go to Krutech then, which is now University of Cross River, They had their stadium, mapped out completely. We're supposed to have tartan tracks around it.
Competition standard.
Yes, standard. A hockey pitch was built because that's the area I coached
to. I know.
Hockey pitch was also built there. I took the team, went for inspection to make sure that it meets the hockey standard. And then you had what they call it, volleyball, about 2 courts and all that. So it was a deliberate thing which was put in place so that while we host the centenary game, it prepares the state in terms of becoming a sporting hub in that area. But the administration came and was not just interested. That
was it a case of lack of interest or because the funds or finances?
What are you saying, funds?
Doctor, was the race positioned well enough to be
revenue generating,
revenue for itself,
self-generating,
without needing the government?
No. Wait, are you saying that the people who started it from 2005 to 2014, there's some things you look at? The Obudu Mountain Race was strategically positioned to, bring to limelight the Obudu Ranch Resort, which was strategic. The Obudu Ranch Resort has a cable car, which is the second longest cable car in the world, in that area. So all these things were positioned to bring, that ranch resort into international standards, spotlight and all that. And of course, he became like the Camp David of Africa. We had a presidential, section built together.
We for the Obudu
Mountain
Resort. I'm not too sure, but we'll try to get the confirmation. We had the likes of Benzema came there, the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo. We're not too sure about that, but we had prominent people.
I'm telling you that he became. Obasanjo came and commissioned the presidential, facility and all that, and it's acclaimed to be that the glasses are bulletproof. Jonathan, when he won election, came for a presidential retreat, and that became the Camp David. So you look at it. If you go up, you see that traditionally it used to be 48 rooms, and when His Excellency Donald came on board, he worked on that ranch resort. I had accommodation types we call the bed nest accommodation, which is like a 3-bedroom flat and suite each. 150 of them were built on top of that place, and the roads were all tarred. Now the mountain race is the highest paying mountain race in the world.
Yes,
I have participated in the mountain race not as a spectator, but as somebody operating the electronic timing equipment.
Really interesting.
Which we have, which is the second best anywhere in Africa. The electronic timing equipment is the best. The finish links that even the National Sports Commission doesn't have, which we have in Cross River State, and it's lying there just because people you are not having the right set of persons who are looking at it. I've used the timing equipment to get admission for athletes in American universities. Today nobody gives you admission with a stopwatch when you're going to that. It's electronic timing equipment, and we used it there, and that's the best anywhere.
Okay, Dr. Ejah, we need to go on a short break. I like this. I like where it's going to. When we return, we'll open the phone lines for Cross-Riverans to also make their input in this conversation because it concerns them, right? This is Let's Talk Nigeria. We'll be right back.
Number one. Music, sport, and talk radio. Let it hit on.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Sparkling 92.3 FM. Calabar's number one. Number one. Music, sport, and talk radio. Let it hit on.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Sparkling 92.3 FM.
This is a replay of Let's Talk Nigeria on Sparkling 92.3 FM Calabar, making Nigeria better, one conversation at a time.
We talk everything. Health, education, finance, sports, transportation, agriculture, politics,
entertainment,
people and power. On Let's Talk Nigeria. Let's Talk Nigeria. Every day of the week from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Only on Sparkling 92.3 FM Calabar. Your radio, your shine.
Welcome back. Still sparkling this morning, and it's still Let's Talk Nigeria on the Sparkling Morning Show. So talking about Cross River State, the many beautiful attractions that the current state government is trying to revive. One of such is the Tinapa Resort, and the other is the Obudu Mountain Race. And before we get to the last point of conversation, Dr. Ejah was sharing something amazing, and I also want you to be part of this conversation. Please do well to call the numbers 0812-723-7060 or 009-230-0022. Now, the question I would ask you is, do you believe in what the state government is set to do with these tourism attractions that were once dead and the state is promising to bring them back to life? Dr. Ejah, you were saying something.
Yeah, so in terms of,
really
ask about economic value. Hotels were usually booked full in Obudu. I'm talking about the local hotels. And then for the people there, it was also an economic, opportunity to make a lot of things they were doing. So you had the people who were selling honey and all that. They were all there. And so it was an opportunity. Now, beyond about a few kilometers at the bottom of the hill, if you go to the ranch, you know that is what we call the bottom of the hill.
I want to go there.
It's an amazing place to go to.
Because of the distance.
There is a safari lodge at Utanga. It was built to a standard of a 3-star hotel on about 6,000 something hectares of land. Big expanse that provided accommodation for international, national, and local athletes who came for the competition. So it was a business boom for people from all areas. On top of the ranch, people were coming from Cameroon to sell wares. So you had everywhere was food. It was a big business hype, and people. There was one of the races that the Australian ambassador to Nigeria came and participated in the race.
Really?
He participated in the race. So you had big names coming on board and doing that. So it was something that brought, the accolades and put Cross River State on the map.
On
so
the global
it opened up this space and we had it. And then you check, the Kenyans, Ethiopians were always,
part of the race.
Yeah, they were always winning.
I think the first person was a Kenyan.
Yeah, the issue
lady
about
that
the
won.
altitude where they were born. And then I remember that the governor then instructed that the children born at the ranch were also competing. You had the children's event after some time. And he said, let's have somebody stay here, groom these children, so that in the next couple of years,
they will be
having them being part of it. And it was fantastic. But these are plans which came on board. And when the new administration came, the previous one, that didn't carry it out. Technically, everybody, we were ready. We were waiting. But then, sports was not on their radar.
Okay, that's very sad. We've been joined by the Deputy Chief Press Secretary to the State Governor, Mr. Darlington Edem. 0812-723-7060 or 009-230-0022. Or please also take to WhatsApp and drop your contribution to this conversation that we are having this morning about the plans by the state government to revive Tinapa Resort, to revive or return the mountain race. And then moving on to the next one, Dr. Ejah, also the announcement made by the state government is the setting up of the committee to review the Calabar Carnival and the festival, the annual festival. Last year made it 20 years, over 2 decades of having that carnival run. So now we're looking at the caliber of persons that have been put in that committee. What are you expecting? What are your expectations from it?
No, I'm just expecting excellent performance, nothing short of it, because none of them is a stranger to the carnival arrangement. On some platform, I saw some persons who were looking at issue of party affiliations.
What has party got to do with Cross River State?
That's the governor picked them based on historical antecedents of their involvement in the carnival, and so it's just bringing it's out, and it's a worthwhile thing to do, that he's coming on board to say, okay, after 20 years, this is Africa's largest
street
carnival
party.
You understand? So what do we do? And begin to look at how do we move it into the next 20 years, into the next 30 years? What do we do with it? It's a beautiful idea, and they're connecting.
All right, Dr. Ejah. Okay, so 0812-723-7060 or 0809-230-0022. Now, looking at the committee here, we have it's a 13-man committee, and this committee is led by High Chief Edem Duke, who is the chairman. But let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello. Good morning, Kamaka.
Can you hear me?
Hello, Kamaka. Good morning. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Good morning, Kamaka.
Hello, I can hear you.
Hello.
Okay. Sincere apologies. I think the network is playing the fast one on us this morning. But all the same, if you're not able to call in, you can do well to drop us a message. We're eager to hear what you have to say about this. And I'm looking at the... okay. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. Please go ahead.
Yes, my name is Samuel Okoha.
Mr. Samuel.
I'm calling from State House in Calabar.
Yes, go ahead. Let's hear your take this morning.
Yes, we appreciate what the governor is doing to make sure that we have a better cross-river state. And many of the moribund facilities that we have, and then he's trying to revive them. But these are some of the challenges that I think will hinder the inflow of people to use those facilities and the progress of that facility. Now, if you're looking at transportation system, it is difficult to access Calabar by road, which you know. The Calabar to road is not good. How will people now drive in and come and use those facilities? Well, you book a flight, if the flight is not cancelled, it is rescheduled. Now, they have to also look at the transportation system into Cross River State and outside Cross River State. You can't drive comfortably from Tinapa Junction, even to Akampa. The roads are all broken and bad. Then how will people now come into the state and use those facilities that are being revived? So the state government also should look at those areas and see how they can fix in roads. What with federal government if it is necessary, and then do what it's supposed to do to make sure we have a good road and we have flights coming into Calabar in and out.
Okay.
So,
all right, thank you very much, Mr. Samuel, for your take. Now, I was talking about the composition of this committee. You have the High Chief Edem Duke, who is the chairman, and then you have Her Excellency Barrister Mrs. Onari Duke as a member, Senator Florence Itagiwa as a member, Senator Geshem Basi as a member, Honorable Chris Agibe is also a member, Dr. Liam Yamgot is a member, Honorable Eric Anderson is also a member. Good morning to you, Mr. Darlington. Can you hear me now?
hello, good morning, Kamata. Yes, perfectly, please.
Okay.
Good morning.
So, based on what we're talking about, the announcement that the state government has made to revive Tinapa Resort and to return the mountain race, which are beautiful plans. Now, cross-riverians are concerned about how this is going to be. One of the callers we had this morning complained about the poor road network. How will people be able to connect to these things that the government is planning to do when the road leading into Cross River State is poor, is bad, is dilapidated, all the bad names to give it?
Okay, thank you very much, Kamaka, and thank you for having me this morning. Good morning to your listener. Well, it's a genuine concern. Addressing the issue your caller raised. Let me begin from there. I think that the caller raised a germane and very genuine concern, and that concern is not just his only. It's the concern of all Cross-Riverians. It's the concern of Cross-Riverians, people, residents who are doing business in Cross River State. But you see, the good thing is that His Excellency is already working, on that. His Excellency is already providing solutions towards that concern. For example, they much talked about the Calabar road. His Excellency is already addressing that Calabar road, because in the first instance, he had said, look, if payment of compensation is a problem, okay, don't worry, the state government will pay compensation. Well, he went ahead to pay compensation. But it appears that there's more politics on that road than ordinary Nigerians can understand. So the His Excellency went ahead to create an alternative route. From Tinapa Junction, you head to Adiabo. I think the story is everywhere. Over the last weekend, I drove to that road and through that road. I went to Uyo and I came back through that road.
The road?
The road is open for. Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
People go fast through there. So you get through Adiabo, you get to Creektown, and then you drive up to Apap, and then in 20 minutes you are in Okrikang, or 25 minutes you are in Okrikang, and then you head to Akwa Ibom, and then you still use that way back. So people are already using the road. In fact, so many people were not aware until I said, look, follow me, we are going to use that route. So that was where that is already being addressed. And I can assure you that the moment that road is completed, the federal government or whatever policy is being played on the Calabar, along the Calabar road, will be addressed or will address itself naturally. So that's one point. So that will effectively resolve the issue of accessibility in and out of Calabar. All right, so that is being done. Regarding towards the Ogoja Obudu axis, the governor is already also addressing that issue. Before now, if you are traveling to Abuja, you have to use Ogoja-Katina-Ala road. So the governor, he has already created the much talked about Yahe-Wanakom. That's the popular Okele road through Yala that will get through to Benue. Of course, 2 weeks ago, he inspected that road. Work is ongoing. And very soon also, people will start using that road. So you will bypass the bad portions of the Katina-Ala road. And then before you know, in minutes, you are in Benue State. And then you head to Makurdi and then to Abuja if you are coming from that end. So those are the two major access roads into Cross River State. Well, issue of flight, I think that is in a exclusive list. The Commissioner for Aviation that I know is very hardworking, is very experienced captain, all right. So he is working very hard to ensure that the landing instrument in Calabar is being restored. Okay. And don't forget, the governor mentioned that in a few months we will have our aircraft, 2 extra aircraft down here, delivered to us in the state. Okay. So the landing instrument in the Calabar airport is being worked on, and very soon that will be addressed. All right. If you allow me to address the issue of Tinapa, Mukamara, I don't know if you have time. If you allow me to address the issue of Tinapa.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so, when we had taken a group of journalists to Tinapa some weeks ago, I think last month, and I said, look, this is Tinapa. And then I took them around, and then they were able to see the level of destruction that was done. And I said, look, Tinapa is working. And then they saw shops being open. I think at that time we had up to 8 shops being open. Business was going on. And then when they came up, people doubted. I'm happy that the governor mentioned it during his media chat. And I'm happy that I think a caller in your station also called UB Furniture. And I don't know if he was able to go to that place, to Tinapa, to see what is going on there. But the truth is that Tinapa is working, and every detail that is needed to address the easy business activity around that environment is being addressed effectively by the governor. Okay. Effectively, because as we speak, there are a lot of investors already standing by to take the entire business facilities in that resort. So the moment AMCON is done with their paperwork, because right now we are done, we've done our own part. So the moment AMCON is done and there's a formal landing of, I can assure you that in few months you will not understand what is going on in Tinapa, because there will be massive businesses that will be going on there.
All right. Thank you very much so far. Now, another one I want you to address is the issue of the Obudu mountain race that the governor announced will return. When are we going to see this return? This year or some other years?
Oh, yes. That's true. I think if you recall, the Obudu mountain resort, mountain race, usually done, I think, around November or so, way back during the days of former Governor Donald Duke, and then the days of former Governor Lee Elimoke. And so I do not know, just like the governor has set up a team of former band leaders, pioneer leaders of the Carnival Calabar to review the activities of the Carnival within the past 20 years, which is very expedient and very important. I think also that the governor will do the same to see what we can do in order to review or to bring back that mountain race. But I think that is better well planned. I think for me, and I know the governor that he is one person who takes time to plan. So when you see him go into action, he gets results. That's because he has invested so much time to plan.
Okay.
So I do not know whether it's going to begin this year because we are yet to get full briefing. But I'm very certain that by next year, if it doesn't begin this year, by next year that mountain race will begin.
All right, we have a message here from someone, Michael from Scanobo. He's asking, will the Carnival Reviewing Committee accept ideas from the public?
Absolutely. Yesterday I got a call from someone from Lagos, a Cross-Riverian, who has also been a part of the festival from afar, and he called and said, look, he will also want to make comments, suggestions, and contributions. And I said, well, it's welcome. I think that the set of the committee members know that they do not have monopoly of knowledge. And they will be open for contributions from Cross-Riverians and non-Cross-Riverians, because the Carnival, Calabar Carnival, has grown beyond a cross-river thing. It is now the biggest street party in Africa. So it is a world-class event, and I think that the committee is open for suggestions. So the caller or the person who is asking the question can please direct his whatever contribution he has to the chairman of the committee or any member of the committee, or forward to me. I'll make sure I deliver to chairman of the committee.
All right, Mr. Darlington, I have my questions though. So this is the reality. We know that for times when the government takes over a property, the level of maintenance we see is not equal when we have it in the hands of privately owned firms. So are you assuring Cross-Riverians that the level of development we will see is one that will match whichever one that a privately owned firm will be bringing to Cross River State, or it will be a PPP arrangement?
Regarding which particular facility?
All of these resorts and the revamping we're noticing in Cross River State, from the Obudu mountain race to the resort and to Tinapa.
Well, I think that all of those facilities is just because it is situated in the state, and the state had initiated the first lift of those or construction of some of those facilities. But importantly, most of these businesses we're talking about, for example, the Tinapa resort, private investors, like I said, are already handling. They are all over the place. So it's going to be solely run by private individuals, companies who have their money, who want to invest. Just like there's absolutely nothing that the governor is doing that is going to be all that is wholly cross-river, wholly government run. Even in the Bakassi Deep Sea Port, private investors who are all over the place with their money. The Obudu Mountain Resort, there's the governor mentioned a major resort manager, a world-class resort manager, is also already at the ranch. The federal government, for example, the Ministry of Livestock, the minister was there and said, look, we are going to see how we can actually use the Obudu Ranch as a ranching place to rear cattle. So all of this is being done by either private sectors. So what the governor or the Cross River State government should do will be merely to oversight, to monitor, and maybe have a little percentage where they can actually ensure that the facilities are well managed.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Darlington. Thank you for answering the questions. Back to Dr. Ejah, I had a question I wanted to ask about the composition of the members of the committee to review the carnival. And looking at the list here, you can see that these persons are drawn across party lines.
Yeah.
Some of them are not even party persons, yes, and all of that. And these are Cross-Riverians who understand the history of the state. Now, what are your expectations from this committee?
No, I'm expecting a great work from them to see how we can, reposition the Calabar Carnival to be better than what it is. And the governor has just done, the people he has brought in, like I said, you're looking at historical antecedents of their involvement. These are people who are knowledgeable in it. And I'm also happy that Darlington has, said what I wanted to say and begin to move up. So it's excellent. The committee should, open up that Crossivarians are ready to bring in beautiful ideas to begin to move. And the worry of what Sini raised about
the maintenance
and all that. See,
culture.
Government has a role. That role is to take over the business, set it up, create the enabling environment, and then they open up for private people
involvement.
To come in. And I think exactly that's what His Excellency is doing. Take the thing, tell you that everywhere is okay for you to come in, and then they begin to look at the percentages of involvement. So that being the case, I think they are doing exactly what they are expected to do. Now, for the mountain race, people, you ask whether it will take place this year. No, I'm speaking from a technical angle on it. They just need to begin the planning. You should expect the mountain race to come up, like next year. And so we need to hit the ground.
Running.
Yes. Because like now.
Yeah. Dr. Please allow me to cut you there. So we had a little break in transmission. Apologies for that. At some point you stopped sharing us, but we're back now. Okay. Thank you. You can go on.
So the committee is going to sit back and look at it like a lot of people. You see the race you see. People just look at it. It takes a lot of planning. People have to go back, retrace, the routes and all that. At a certain point, it started a certain number of kilometers were all done on the third road. And then the International Mountain Racing Committee, Federation, now said, look, you must follow a certain thing. So you start doing the tracing of the road through all the routes, through the hills.
So there's a lot of work to be done.
So you need to do that. You need to get the technical people on ground. I'm going to sit back now and do a proposal on getting the electronic timing equipment, back, because that's where my expertise, is on that area. It will be a monumental waste if that facility is allowed to go on. So we bought it the year it was manufactured. So we need to get all that, and then there are persons. You need to do all the arrangements. So I believe the committee is swinging into action. The 20 persons you're seeing, the volume of work is enormous for them, because it's not just the carnival. They're going to review the carnival and every other thing that is connected, to making that carnival beautiful. So they definitely are going to open up, and a few of us are ready, to work it. I see them also looking at co-opting, some persons to begin to work with them in all that area.
Wow, this is a big one, and we can't wait to see all of these things manifest, because it will really turn the tide in the favor of Cross-Variance and help in its economic future.
Yeah. Well, Doctor, my concern here is just that we hear of beautiful feats like this, but it just remains on the paper. We hope that this present administration goes beyond what is on the paper to put in those structures on ground for Cross-Variance to benefit, just like Uka has said.
Yeah, your fear and concerns are valid, but you need to judge a man based on certain facts which are there. For this one, I see that he's not the one who is interested in blowing too much of his trumpet as a governor, but he's taking his time and doing what he's doing. So if we follow the fact that the few things he says he will do, he has started doing them, and even beyond that. So we should believe that the committee has put to work the kind of persons in the committee and the purpose for which the committee is meant for. Definitely are going to deliver.
Okay. Lastly, from Mr. Darlington, are you still there?
Yes, please, I'm here.
Okay, so lastly for you, with the caliber of persons on the list of this committee, what are we expecting from the Carnival this 2025?
Well, I think you should expect nothing other than a bigger, and more exciting carnival. I mean, look at, for example, the governor's wisdom to decide to review the carnival after 2 decades. I think that is only going to set the ground for a much better and much exciting carnival. And if you look at also the caliber of persons, permit me, I never knew Professor Ejah. Macfarlane is in the studio. Good morning to our very erudite Macfarlane.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I never knew that you were in the studio, sir.
No, it's okay.
And also let me congratulate Ukamaka for returning from from our leave.
Okay. Sini would have to go so that I get these congratulations.
Yes, please. So, so we are preparing to go to Voki. So when we are back, we'll come officially to celebrate with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So Kamaka, let me say it. All right. I think that what Cross River Governor too and the present administration needs now from Cross River, honestly, to Kamaka, is a sincere and very honest support. This governor has proven that he is sincere. He has proven that he's on the path or on the side of the people. You do not need any other confirmation. This governor has proven that he's pro-people. He has been able to marshal out solutions upon solutions ever since he has, came into office. People do not even know that he's just barely 18 months in the office, not even up to 2 years. But if you look at the record, if you look at his achievements, I think that this government deserves massive support from it. So I want to use this opportunity to call on cross-riverians who are listening to me, your callers, Nigerians who are residents here, everybody, to please support the administration of distinguished Senator Bassey Obudu because he means well. He has proven. December, during the festive period, he ensured that people had access to their villages. He made transportation free.
Okay.
So this is me calling on Cross-Riverians to please support this government.
All right.
Because the governor is determined to make life better for Cross-Riverians.
All right. Thank you, the Deputy Chief Press Secretary to the State Governor. Thank you very much, Mr. Darlington Edem, for your time this morning. And we're hoping to see all of these things that the state government has reeled out to manifest. Yes, we're hoping seriously. And thank you so much, Dr. Ejah. Thank you for making our time to come talk about this issue.
It's a pleasure. And so we need to just give the people's governor, that enabling environment. He's not braggadocious. I think he's a talk and do person. So let's give him all the opportunity.
And thank you also, Cross-Riverians, for being part of the show this morning. This is where we draw the curtain. Sini, my friend.
Well, we're saying thank you very much. They have spoken a lot about this new initiative that Mr. Governor has taken upon. Well, fingers crossed. We don't want to get too excited about it, but we want to be hopeful at the end of the day, because once this opens up, believe me, the business terrain that we've been talking about, crossover, will boom, and we'll see more people come in here to do business, leave and do whatever it is that is legally binding.
Come and leave
and
be
that's
at rest,
Calabar,
right?
Yeah, exactly. Come and leave and be at rest. Yes.
All right, Cross-Riverians, thank you so much. Okamaka Richard Bassey is my name. God bless.
Calabar's number one music, sports and talk radio. Let it hit on.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Sparkling 92.3 FM.